Hi. I was listening to the news, and we had a really bad week in the South here, and uh, in a few states with the tornadoes, and we've had bad rain here. But anyway, what really was upsetting me, this young little man, Mr. Rice, I believe he was 12 years old, and a policeman shot him in a state where they're allowed to carry arms. But anyway, they were saying that he was scared. I am losing a lot of faith in maybe the police really doing their job, as scared as they are. They had another shooting in Chicago where they it just I guess the guy came out with a baseball bat, so they answered him with a gun, shot him 7 times, and then shot the lady that opened the damn door. So you could tell their response. I mean, really, I really, like, cause like, I'm losing a lot of faith in their ability to really do their job, as petrified as they are. Cause if you're that scared and you have to kill a 12-year-old boy, and I'll tell you the truth, as many little boys I've seen with BB guns and pellet guns and little water pistol, you know, I mean, I guess like when we were younger, they were blessed because they could walk around and play cowboys and Indians and play, cops and robbers, um, but not today. So I think that, really, after I went to this one church, the Bible study, I realized there's no way that the church could come as a unit and solve and fixing the problems, um, because that's not where they're focused at. Um, so because like there was already existent groups and church groups and stuff like that. If that if they could gather money to buy their pastor, well, this pastor over here doesn't look like all highfalutin anything. But in some of these churches, if they could buy their pastors jet liners, you could think they could also do more than collect cans and give people canned food. They could do more for the community and what they're doing. There's so much the children are coming. You know, they could get more political. They could use their money to make it a better and safer place for African American children, so they could go out in the street. And, you know what I'm saying? Because like this one guy, he's a black guy. He has a gun. I think it was a stupid cop anyway. So anyway, he's like the guys that live the next block over. They met on the corner and they were talking, and so he goes, he has to get his gun. I'm like, really? They don't think, you know, just, they don't think these people live over here. They have the right to be. This is a residential area. They have the right to congregate just because they're black. If they were white, he'd have felt safe. But I grew up more around a lot of white people, and white people, like there was like real criminals, like Al Capone and all of them. They were coming out of war zone, and I remember there was like we had like in New York they had this 45 caliber killer. They had like women that was up in the Bronx. I guess it was prostituting. They would find them in the trash dumpsters. Even if they wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe a guy just saw him, was like, wow, she's gorgeous. I gotta have her. But I want her, so women want what men want. They use that type of logic. When I hear women say that too, I don't really ever want what men want. You know what I'm saying? And I don't necessarily want what women want. Sometimes I just want a fine meal, but maybe everybody wants that. But anyway, I mean, I'm not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had my acting out and all that, but anyway. But I mean, it could have been a safer place for me as a teenager too. But the police were very scared of And I think a lot of it is they're not from that community. I don't understand why a mom would have to call the police to handle her problem, which is your child. If you call the police, um and like, because they're telling you they're scared, they're petrified. So if this person has like allowed like like my voice carries, so you know how they scared, just me talking, just talking petrifies them. So you know I think we have to be more responsible for our kids. If you whoop your kids, you should expect your kid to be violent to you, because that's what you taught them. I've heard mothers say, "I'm only, I'm doing this because I love you." So then the kid thinks that pain and and uh, uh is good. Like, oh, like they give me pain, it's good. Um, so they got so it's a little confusing. I know, like, the one reason why I really have stopped dating is because of that. A lot, especially in the black community, they think they could. A lot of men think that, like, like they got to put your hands on you, or and another thing I hate also is the way the propaganda is. Like, it's like everybody's all about, like, oh, we're all for guns and all this stuff. We don't want to lose our gun rights. And I think maybe, if it gets, I know I have a gun. You have to, because sick people. but you know, but we lose our freedom of speech. You have people all the time that are like, you can't talk to me like that. I'm like, well, I don't want to lose my constitutional rights altogether. I mean, you could carry a gun. I guess you don't need to speak. But anyway, between Chicago's murdering somebody, there's like the cops are killing somebody every day. And I think a lot of the problem is that African Americans really are not a murdering race, a war race, like what the Caucasian are. The you know um um and so I think that we have to take that in consideration. Um um when we go places, maybe go and like, if you're kids and you're going into groups or whatnot, I say split up in two so you don't frighten the police. I mean, I'm not saying if you see the police, run from them, because they'll shoot you. You know, but don't make eye contact with them. You have to sort of maybe do it like, like a frightened wild a feral animal. You know what I'm saying? Because they get spooked easy. And I think that you know I think they're gonna get worse because they're scared. And one thing I was surprised that they actually, Chicago tried to apologize to the lady they killed. And another thing I really hate is, like, every time somebody has a problem with the cops, they're like, "Oh, not all cops are bad," "Oh, we need." In lots of ways, if they're really petrified and they're so scared that their first response is to kill American citizens, especially African American citizens, then they're useless. And I know here, like, they like to bully and tease, and they so promiscuous. They act so incestuous. Like, ugh, like, uh, so, like, and that's basically their whole. Because, like, this one undercover cop, he's gonna tell me, like, he went to it was the best man at this wedding, and he had sex with his best friend's bride just before the wedding. I was like, wow. So we're dealing with people with with low morals and a flagrant disregard for human life. We're losing. Like, these new laws. We have lost a lot of our constitution. Well, we still, they're slowly chipping away at all of our rights. that our ancestors fought so hard for. They're always talking about their ancestors, but I got news for you, white people that did your KKK and all that. My ancestors fought in every war there ever was. My ancestors might have came back from those wars, but we see that now that that they have a problem, with African Americans, and I'm not saying we got to have a problem with them, but I'm saying that the churches really need to step up, and instead of buying Cadillacs and Bentleys and jet planes, maybe buy a politician. Trump's for sale. No, not Trump. I'm moving to Canada if he wins because it's disgusting. Well, anyway, I think that we have a real problem with the cops always being so petrified of like a 12-year-old child, and they're saying, "Oh, well, you really can't tell a toy gun from a real gun." Well, then really they shouldn't be in that job at all. You know what I'm saying? Because we need people in there that are able to comprehend, are able to reason, and have a functional type of brain. Which if you're scared, your brain's not functioning. You're just you're reacting. You're not doing anything. So we're a hell of a lot of trouble. You just better hope Chicago don't have no crazy Arab or some crazy white person. Well, we wouldn't even know if they had a crazy white person going around killing people. You know what I found funny? When they killed that one guy, and then the next day that little boy got killed in an alley in Chicago. And those cops, they have 70% of the homicides that they have in that area unsolved. They solved that one. Makes you think maybe the cops, trying to distract him, maybe the cops killed him and blamed it on a gang. Because the only gangs I ever knew, really, when I was growing up, they was actually policemen. They were, they thought they was pimp and dope fiends, You can't tell me they don't deliver drugs, because that's where I used to get mine from. But I don't do them anymore, and I don't have nothing to do with those type of people. You know what I'm saying? Just best to stay away. Stay away. If you got a fire or something for insurance, probably call them so you could get your money like that. But anything else, I say they scared to death. They're gonna kill you if you call them, because that's been the procedures.